There's a truth most people avoid because it cuts too close to the bone. You lose your power the moment you tell the world what you're working on. Every unfinished dream becomes weaker the second you let it leak into the open. No one talks about this, but you already know it's true. You've felt it, you've lived it. You announce something big. You tell people your plans, you share your goals, and for a moment, you feel proud, validated, even motivated. But then something strange happens. Your momentum drops. Your discipline fades, your hunger softens, and without realizing it, you've traded execution for applause you haven't earned. There is a reason the strongest people move in silence. Noise kills progress. Attention steals energy. Eyes on you create pressure you're not ready for, and the world loves to watch you start, but it rarely shows up when you struggle. Worse, some even prefer you fail. So here is the hard question. How much of your life has been shaped by the eyes, the opinions, the expectations, or the judgments of other people? How many ideas died because someone doubted you? How many goals did you abandon because a single comment got in your head? How many times did you pause, not because you were tired, but because you were watched? That's the trap. And that's why this journey matters. Silence isn't about hiding. Silence is about building. You don't stay quiet because you're weak. You stay quiet because you are protecting something powerful, something fragile, something not ready for the world yet. Greatness begins in the dark, the way diamonds form under pressure long before anyone sees them. Roots grow underground before a tree reaches the sky. You strengthen in the shadows before you step into the light. This is the truth. If you want to rise, you must train yourself to stop performing for people who don't matter. You must disconnect your self-worth from their reactions. You must build without the need for attention, approval, or applause. Because the moment your life becomes a show, your progress becomes a performance. And performances don't last. Discipline does. Silence does. Focus does. So let me ask you again, what has all the noise cost you? Your peace, your time, your confidence, your consistency? When you chase validation, you lose direction. When you chase attention, you lose momentum. When you chase approval, you lose yourself. But when you chase progress, everything shifts. Your mind sharpens. Your energy deepens. Your priorities realign. And the world becomes background noise, like static behind a frequency only you can hear. That's the power we're building here. Not hype. Not ego. Not motivation that fades in a week, but identity. The identity of someone who rises quietly, consistently, relentlessly. In these next 90 minutes, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to strip away the noise that's been controlling your focus for years. I'm here to help you reclaim your energy, rebuild your discipline, and fortify the parts of you that weaken every time you seek attention. I'm here to guide you into a version of yourself who doesn't need validation, because your results speak louder than your words ever could. We're going to walk through 10 core chapters that break down the art of building in silence. You'll learn how to protect your focus, how to guard your energy, how to detach from opinions, how to trust the invisible work, how to show up when no one is watching, and how to rise without announcing a single step. This isn't about becoming quiet. It's about becoming dangerous. Dangerous in the way disciplined people are dangerous. They don't talk. They don't brag. They don't broadcast every move. They move with intention, with purpose, with precision. And when the results come, when the work matures, when the seeds you planted in silence finally break through the ground, the world won't be able to ignore you. They'll think you came out of nowhere. They'll call you lucky. They'll say you changed overnight, but you'll know the truth. You didn't rise by accident. You didn't win by chance. You won because you did the work no one saw. So take a breath. Settle in. This is the moment you stop telling people what you'll do and start doing it. This is where the noise ends and your life begins. Not out there in the spotlight, but here, inside, in the silence you've been running from, in the discipline you've been avoiding, in the focus that will carry you forward long after motivation dies. You don't need to announce anything. You need to commit, and you need to begin. Chapter 1. Build yourself in silence. You don't rise when people are watching. You rise when no one knows what you're doing. And this is where most people fail. They want the victory, but they don't want the invisibility that comes before it. They want the applause, but they don't want the discipline. They want the moment in the spotlight, but they refuse to build the strength required in the dark. That is the first truth you must swallow. Everything powerful begins quietly. Think about the last time you told someone your goal. Maybe you wanted to change your body, build a business, learn a new skill, or reinvent yourself. You shared it with excitement, maybe even pride. You expected support. You expected encouragement. You expected people to admire the ambition. But instead of fuel, you felt your energy slip. Instead of urgency, you felt comfort. Instead of hunger, you felt satisfied too early. Because when you talk about what you're going to do, you trick your brain into thinking you've already done something. You get a small hit of validation before you've earned anything. And that single moment of validation steals the power of your first step. Silent builders understand this. They don't announce. They don't explain. They don't narrate their every move to the world. They let the work do the talking. They let the results reveal the truth. They let the process unfold behind closed doors. And because no one sees their effort, no one can interfere with their momentum. When you build yourself in silence, you protect the most fragile part of your journey. The beginning. Beginnings are the easiest to destroy. One discouraging comment can kill them. One skeptical look can shrink them. One unnecessary opinion can wound them. Your early progress is like a flame just starting to burn. Expose it to the wind too soon, and it dies. Keep it covered, shielded, hidden. Then it grows strong enough to survive anything. Silence is your shield. And in a world obsessed with showing everything, silence becomes a superpower. So imagine this. Every morning, before the world gets noisy, before the opinions of others start creeping into your mind, you sit with yourself. No announcements, no social media updates, no status posts about working hard. Just you, the goal, and the work. You move quietly. You focus deeply. You build deliberately. There is no pressure to impress. There is no external scoreboard. There is no audience to perform for. And in that quiet, something powerful starts happening inside you. You rediscover the purity of effort. You rebuild the relationship between intention and action. You learn how to trust yourself again. Because here's the truth many people don't want to face. Silence forces you to confront the real version of yourself. Not the version you show the world. Not the version you pretend to be online. Not the version that performs strength but never practices it. Silence strips away the excuses. Silence exposes your discipline, or your lack of it. And that's why silence feels uncomfortable at first. It reveals you, but it also rebuilds you. When no one is watching, you can't rely on praise. You can't rely on attention. You can't rely on someone cheering you on. The only fuel you have is your why, and when your why becomes strong enough to sustain you in silence, nothing can stop you. Think about the greatest athletes, thinkers, creators, and leaders. Their breakthroughs didn't come from crowds. They came from hours alone, training, refining, failing, learning, adjusting. You don't see the repetitions. You don't see the nights. You don't see the doubt. You don't see the internal battles. All you see is the result, and that's how it should be. Results are meant to be seen. Work is meant to be done quietly. The modern world flips this upside down. People show their work but hide their results. They talk loudly but act slowly. They share everything but accomplish nothing. They create the illusion of progress without ever doing the work that produces progress. They are addicted to being seen, not to becoming strong. And that addiction kills potential. But you're not here to live like that. You're here to reclaim your focus and reshape your path. And the first step is choosing the silent path. The path where your growth doesn't need to be validated. The path where your effort isn't performed. The path where your identity is formed, not advertised. The path where you become dangerous quietly. Building yourself in silence is not about isolation. It's about preparation. It's about giving yourself the space to fail without judgment, to learn without pressure, to evolve without comparison. It's about removing the noise long enough to hear your own thoughts clearly. It's about developing a relationship with discipline that's not influenced by anyone else. Discipline grows when it's not being watched. It grows when it's tested privately. It grows when you choose the harder thing, even when no applause is coming. And that kind of discipline, the private kind, becomes unbreakable. Here's what happens when you commit to building in silence. Your confidence becomes internal instead of borrowed. Your standards rise because no one is lowering them for you. Your actions become intentional, not performative. Your self-respect increases with every quiet victory, and your mind becomes sharper because it no longer competes with the distractions of attention. There is a moment in everyone's journey when the noise becomes unbearable. When you're tired of explaining yourself, tired of being judged, tired of being misunderstood, tired of being questioned. That moment is not a sign to quit. That moment is a sign to go silent. Silence removes the wrong people and attracts the right results. It turns your focus inward. It turns your energy upward. It turns your path forward. No one needs to know what you're building until it's built. No one needs to understand your process until it's complete. No one needs to hear your plans until they've become reality. You owe the world results, not explanations. So here is the commitment you make in this chapter. You stop announcing, you stop oversharing, you stop seeking early praise, you stop performing progress, and you start building quietly, daily, relentlessly. You focus on yourself until your results speak louder than you ever could. You protect your goals until they grow strong enough to stand on their own. You honor your potential by guarding it from the noise. There will come a day when your results shock people, when they wonder how you rose so fast, when they question how you changed so deeply. But you'll know the truth. You rose because you built in silence. You changed because you stopped talking and started doing. You became strong because you gave yourself the privacy to grow without judgment, comparison, or interruption. This is your season of quiet power. This is where the transformation begins. Not in the spotlight, not in the noise, not in the opinions of others, but here, in the stillness you choose for yourself, in the discipline you commit to, in the work no one sees but everyone eventually feels. Build yourself in silence now, so the world has no choice but to witness the results later. Chapter 2. Protect your focus. Most people think focus is something you find. They imagine it's hiding somewhere, waiting for the right moment, the right motivation, the right environment. But real focus isn't something you stumble upon. Real focus is something you guard, every hour, every day, every decision. Because the truth is brutal. The world is built to distract you. Everything, your phone, your apps, your social feeds, your notifications, the noise, the opinions, the conversations you didn't ask for, everything is designed to steal your attention before you even realize it's gone. And here's the part that hurts. The world doesn't even have to work hard. Your focus doesn't disappear with a dramatic event. It slips away through 1,000 tiny leaks. One glance at your phone, one meaningless message, one unnecessary conversation, one mindless scroll, one intrusive thought, and suddenly the day is gone, and you don't even remember how you lost it. You think you were busy, but the truth is you were just noisy. You weren't working, you were reacting. And you can't build a powerful life by reacting to everything around you. So let's start with the hard question. How much of your life have you already traded for distractions? How many projects were delayed, not because they were hard, but because something easier stole your attention? How many dreams were paused because you let the world pull you in every direction except the one that mattered? How many times did you wake up with a clear intention, but go to bed realizing you let the world rewrite your agenda? Focus is not a talent. Focus is not luck. Focus is not a gift. Focus is a responsibility. It is something you protect the way warriors protect their shields, the way parents protect their children, the way leaders protect their time. Because when you lose focus, you lose direction. When you lose direction, you lose momentum. And when you lose momentum, you lose yourself. Imagine your attention as a room. Every time you leave the door open, something or someone walks in. A notification, a comment, a distraction disguised as entertainment, a quick break that becomes an hour, a thought that has no place in your mission. You leave the door wide open, and suddenly the room is crowded with things that don't belong to you, don't help you, don't feed you, don't build you. By the time you clear it out, you're exhausted. You can't create when your space is full of noise. You can't grow when your mind is busy surviving interruptions. If you want to rise in silence, you must learn to protect your focus with the same intensity you protect your future. And that begins with boundaries, internal and external. You must decide who gets your time, who gets your energy, who gets your attention, and who gets the silence of being ignored. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not every message deserves a response. Not every demand deserves your presence. You're not obligated to be available. You're obligated to become who you were meant to be. Here is the truth people rarely admit. Most distractions aren't accidents. They're habits. You don't check your phone because you need to. You check it because your mind has been trained to crave stimulation. You don't scroll because you're curious. You scroll because it's easier than doing the work. You don't get pulled away because someone demands your attention. You get pulled away because you never built the discipline to guard it. But once you realize focus is a muscle, everything changes. Muscles grow through repetition, resistance, and consistency. Your mind is no different. Start visualizing focus as something sacred, a protected space, a fortress with walls you decide who can enter. Every time you allow a distraction, you are letting the enemy through the gate. Not a dramatic enemy. An enemy disguised as something harmless, small, familiar. But those enemies are the ones that destroy empires. Not the big threats. The small ones that slip in unnoticed. Most people will never reach their potential simply because they can't sit alone with their thoughts long enough to build anything meaningful. They are addicted to being interrupted. They are addicted to stimulation that leads nowhere. They chase noise because silence makes them confront themselves. But greatness demands that confrontation. Silence reveals your weaknesses. Silence exposes your excuses. Silence forces you to see where your discipline ends. And if you can stay in that silence without escaping, you can grow beyond anything you've ever been. Protecting your focus means designing your environment to support you, not sabotage you. It means removing temptations before they tempt you. It means creating a space where your mind can breathe, work, build, and sharpen itself. It means choosing deep work over shallow stimulation. It means doing one thing with full attention instead of 5 things with half effort. When you give something your full focus, it becomes powerful. When you divide your focus, everything becomes weak. Your best ideas only show up when your mind is clear enough to hear them. Your best decisions only rise when you have the space to think. Your best performance comes when you're not fighting distraction every 2 seconds. Your best self only appears when your attention is aligned with your purpose. The world will always try to pull you away from yourself. That's the cost of living in a society where attention is the most fought-over currency. Companies want your focus. Apps want your focus. Strangers want your focus. Everyone wants a piece of your mind, but only you are responsible for protecting it. So what does it mean to truly guard your focus? It means lowering your exposure to things that steal your strength. It means setting boundaries with people who drain your energy. It means turning off notifications and turning on discipline. It means saying no to things that look good but lead nowhere. It means prioritizing one clear goal instead of juggling 10 vague ones. It means making your environment match your ambitions. It means choosing depth over distraction, purpose over noise, progress over entertainment. And here's the most important truth. Focus is freedom. The moment you master your attention, you master your future. A focused mind makes fast progress. A distracted mind walks in circles. A focused life compounds. A distracted life crumbles. You either guard your focus or lose your potential. There is no middle ground. So today, you draw the line. You stop giving your power to distractions that don't deserve it. You stop letting the world decide what you think about. You stop letting noise set the rhythm of your day. You stop allowing interruptions to sabotage your momentum. You stop being available to everything and start being available to your mission. Protecting your focus won't make your life easier. It will make it sharper. It will make your progress faster. It will make your discipline stronger. And eventually, it will make your results undeniable. There will come a moment when someone asks you how you rose so quickly, how you became so consistent, how you transformed your life. They'll assume you had some secret trick, but the only secret is this. You protected the one thing most people waste, your focus. And when you guard your focus, you guard your future. Chapter 3. Ignore the noise. If you want to rise, you must learn to ignore what was never meant to guide you. And most of what you hear in life, most of the opinions, comments, judgments, comparisons, projections, is nothing but noise. Noise that doesn't build you, noise that doesn't strengthen you, noise that doesn't move you closer to the life you want. But because it's constant, loud, familiar, and everywhere, you start believing it has weight. You start treating it like truth. You start letting it decide what you do, what you don't do, what you start, what you stop, what you believe you're capable of. And that is how people lose themselves. Not through failure, but through noise. Noise is the invisible enemy of focus. It takes your mind away from what matters, convinces you to care about what doesn't, and exhausts you mentally until you no longer have the energy to move toward your goals. Noise distracts you, drains you, and deceives you. The most dangerous part. It does this quietly, slowly, until one day you wake up realizing you're living a life shaped by everything except your own intention. Look around you. Every screen is noise. Every comment section is noise. Every person who speaks without understanding your vision is noise. Every comparison you make against someone else's life is noise. Every opinion that doesn't come from someone wiser, stronger, or more experienced is noise. And the more you absorb it, the more you shrink yourself to fit a world that never understood your potential in the first place. So ask yourself, how much of your potential have you already sacrificed to noise? How many decisions have you delayed because someone questioned you? How many dreams did you bury because the world told you they weren't realistic? How many times have you doubted yourself, not because you were wrong, but because you listened to the wrong voices? Noise doesn't have to be hateful to be harmful. Noise can sound harmless, soft, friendly, even well-meaning. But if it distracts you, discourages you, or derails you, it's noise. And noise must be ignored ruthlessly. People will offer opinions on things they never tried. People will judge decisions they don't understand. People will project their fears onto your path. People will criticize your ambition because it reminds them of their own stagnation. They will talk loudly while doing little. They will give advice without results. They will expect you to listen while they stay comfortable. And if you listen long enough, you start believing that their limits should become your limits. But their noise is not your truth. Their fear is not your destiny. Their doubts are not your reality. To rise in silence, you must build a wall between your mind and the world's noise. A mental boundary so strong that opinions slide off, judgments lose their sting, and comparisons stop influencing your direction. When you reach that point, your internal voice becomes louder than the external world. Your intuition becomes stronger, your focus becomes laser sharp. Your confidence grows from the inside instead of being borrowed from approval. And that's when you become dangerous. Ignoring the noise is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. It's about choosing whose voice shapes your life. It's about recognizing that not every sound deserves your attention and not every comment deserves your energy. You must become selective. Selective with your time. Selective with your mind. Selective with your environment. Selective with what you allow into your inner world. Because once noise enters your mind, it becomes part of your decisions, even if you don't notice it. Imagine this clearly. Every opinion you absorb is like a fingerprint pressed onto your mind. Every comment you take seriously leaves a mark. Every piece of doubt you let in becomes a seed. And seeds grow. If you plant enough of the wrong seeds, you end up growing a garden full of doubt, fear, hesitation, insecurity, and comparison. You begin living in a mental landscape someone else planted. Ignoring the noise is how you protect the soil of your mind. The world benefits when you're distracted. The world benefits when you doubt yourself. The world benefits when you're too busy watching others instead of building yourself. But nothing great was ever created by someone who let noise lead their life. Every breakthrough, every masterpiece, every transformation came from someone who learned to shut out the world long enough to hear their own clarity. So how do you ignore the noise in a world addicted to making it? You start by recognizing that silence is not weakness, it's strategy. When you stop reacting to noise, you take your power back. When you stop explaining yourself to people who don't understand you, you free your energy. When you stop absorbing opinions from people who don't have the life you want, you protect your future. When you stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, you regain momentum. Noise loses its power when you refuse to be available to it. It won't be easy at first. Noise is addictive because it distracts you from your discomfort. Focusing on your own path forces you to confront what you've been avoiding. Your fears, your inconsistencies, your lack of discipline, your untapped potential. Noise gives you escape. Silence gives you growth. And growth comes with friction. But once you learn to stay with yourself through that friction, you become unstoppable. You develop an internal clarity the world cannot shake. Your mind becomes anchored, your path becomes sharper, your energy becomes harder to disturb, your vision becomes immune to doubt, and the louder the world becomes, the quieter you get, because you no longer need the world to tell you who you are. Ignoring the noise means choosing yourself even when the world misunderstands you. It means honoring your path, even when others criticize it. It means trusting your vision even when no one else can see it. It means walking forward without needing applause, approval, or permission. It means refusing to let the world's chaos rewrite your purpose. You don't grow when you chase noise. You grow when you outrun it. You grow when you detach from it. You grow when you stop feeding it. You grow when you realize that noise only has the power you give it. At some point in your journey, the world will notice your silence. They'll wonder why you're not as loud as you used to be, why you're not posting everything you do, why you're not sharing every move, why you're not reacting to the constant chatter around you. They will misunderstand your silence. They'll call it arrogance, distance, or coldness. Let them. They don't understand that silence is how you protect your focus, your energy, your mind, and your mission. They don't understand that ignoring the noise is how you build a life that speaks for itself. Because eventually, after the work compounds, after the effort matures, after the discipline strengthens, your results will rise loud enough to silence every doubt. Every voice that questioned you, every opinion that tried to shape you, every distraction that tried to slow you. Your results will become the volume you never needed to create with your words. Ignore the noise now, so your success can speak later. Ignore the noise now, so your clarity can grow. Ignore the noise now, so your mind becomes a place where focus flourishes and distractions die. Ignore the noise now, because every minute you give to noise is a minute stolen from your purpose. The world may be loud, but your mission is louder. And the moment you understand that, you stop listening to everything that doesn't move you forward. Chapter 4. Commit to the process, not the attention. Everyone wants progress. Very few want the process. Everyone wants to be seen winning. Very few want to be unseen working. Everyone wants the moment where everything clicks. Very few want the months, sometimes years, where nothing seems to move. But this is where your life actually changes, in the stretch of time where no one claps, no one compliments you, no one texts you, "I'm proud of you," and no one even notices what you're doing. This is the part where most people quit. This is the part where you cannot. You will never rise if your motivation is built on attention. Attention is temporary. Approval is unpredictable. Praise is inconsistent. And when you rely on any of those things, your discipline becomes fragile. Your effort becomes conditional. Your motivation becomes dependent, and your progress becomes a performance instead of a commitment. You cannot build a powerful life this way. You cannot become unstoppable if you only move when someone is watching. The truth is simple and hard. The process will test you long before it rewards you. The process will feel boring before it feels meaningful. The process will feel invisible before it feels undeniable. The process will make you question everything: your path, your timing, your ability, your worth. And yet the process is the only thing that can take you where you want to go. Not attention, not applause, not validation. The process. So ask yourself honestly, do you want to succeed, or do you want to be seen trying? Do you want results, or do you want recognition? Do you want growth, or do you want glory? There is a difference, and your life will change the moment you choose correctly. When you commit to the process, you understand that progress is rarely visible at first. It grows underneath your awareness, like roots deepening under the soil long before anything appears above ground. This is the invisible season. The season that defines your future more than any moment of success ever will. Because what you do when nothing is happening determines everything that will happen later. People think success is built in breakthroughs. It isn't. Success is built in repetitions. Quiet, consistent, unglamorous repetitions that no one celebrates. You will have days where you feel strong and driven. You will also have days where you feel nothing, no motivation, no spark, no clarity. But the process doesn't care about your mood. The process only responds to your discipline. And discipline is built by doing the work, especially on the days you don't feel like it. That's when you earn your future. That's when your identity shifts. That's when you become the kind of person who rises, not by accident, but by design. Most people quit too soon because they confuse silence with failure. They assume that if the world isn't reacting, if results aren't showing, if progress isn't visible, then nothing is working. But silence doesn't mean failure. Silence means incubation. Silence means transformation. Silence means the process is doing what it does best, building you from the inside out. If you want proof, look at any long-term success story. The wins were loud, but the work, the real work, was always silent, unseen, uncelebrated, unapplauded. And that's why it was powerful. Because anything built quietly cannot be easily shaken. Anything built without attention cannot be destroyed by attention. Anything built in solitude becomes stable enough to survive the spotlight. When you stop chasing attention, you start chasing mastery. And mastery is what makes you undeniable. Mastery is what makes your work speak for itself. Mastery is what makes the world pay attention even when you didn't ask it to. Mastery is born from devotion. Devotion to the process, not to the noise. Commitment means showing up every single day, not just when you feel inspired. Commitment means doing the same foundational habits until they sculpt you. Commitment means choosing depth over speed, quality over praise, progress over popularity. Commitment means giving your time, your energy, your focus, and your effort to what matters. Even when no one knows, no one cares, and no one is watching. This chapter is your wake-up call to stop romanticizing the spotlight and start respecting the grind. The spotlight will come only when the grind is done, and not a second earlier. You must understand this deeply. Attention is a distraction disguised as motivation. It makes you feel good too early. It tricks you into feeling finished before you've begun. It encourages validation before results. And it creates a habit of starting things for praise instead of purpose. That habit kills destinies quietly. But when you work without posting, bragging, announcing, or seeking approval, your brain learns to derive satisfaction from the work itself. And that is the most powerful transformation you can experience. Because once you fall in love with the process, you become unstoppable. No setback can break you. No delay can discourage you. No silence can intimidate you. Your identity changes from someone who tries to someone who becomes. From someone who hopes to someone who commits. From someone who reacts to someone who builds. Here's the reality no one tells you. You don't need more motivation. You need more consistency. You don't need more hype. You need more repetition. You don't need more applause. You need more discipline. You don't need people to believe in you. You need to believe in the work. The process is what turns potential into strength. The process is what turns dreams into outcomes. The process is what turns insecurity into confidence. The process is what turns chaos into clarity. People often say, trust the process. But trust isn't passive. Trust is active. Trust means doing the work even when nothing proves you should. Trust means showing up even when doubt screams louder than belief. Trust means investing time today into a future you can't see yet. Trust means honoring the path even when it feels slow, still, or silent. And one day, the process will reward you, quietly at first, then loudly. Small breakthroughs, slow growth, tiny improvements that compound over time. Then suddenly, people will see what you've become. They'll call it overnight success. They'll assume it was easy. They'll assume you had help, luck, timing. But you'll know the truth. You didn't rise overnight. You rose over thousands of moments the world never saw. Commit to the process now so that the results can reveal themselves later. Commit to the process now so that attention becomes irrelevant. Commit to the process now so that your future self looks back with gratitude instead of regret. The world doesn't need to see your journey. It only needs to feel your results. And those results will come, not from being seen, but from being committed. Chapter 5. Show up when no one is watching. There is a moment in every person's life when the lights are off, the room is quiet, the applause is gone, and no one cares what you do next. That moment is the truth test. That moment separates the ones who rise from the ones who remain the same. Because showing up when people are watching is easy. Showing up when someone might praise you is comfortable. Showing up when the world expects it from you is normal. But showing up when no one knows, no one checks, no one texts, no one encourages, and no one applauds. That is where greatness is forged. If you only show up for attention, you will fail the moment attention disappears. If you only show up for approval, you will collapse the moment approval isn't offered. If you only show up for recognition, you will disappear the moment recognition fades. That is why most people never build anything strong enough to last. They work for the wrong audience. They work for the crowd, not the future. They work for validation, not transformation. They work to be seen, not to become someone worth seeing. But here is the real truth you have to accept. Your future self is the only audience that matters. The version of you 5 years from now. The version of you who depends on the strength you build today. The version of you who needs you to show up when it's dark, when it's quiet, when it's inconvenient, when it's lonely. That future version is watching, even when no one else is. Greatness is not built in front of the world. It is built in empty rooms, early mornings, silent nights, and unglamorous hours where no one sees what you're doing. It is built in workouts with no camera. It is built in hours of practice with no applause. It is built in disciplined days that no one else will ever know happened. Those invisible hours are the foundation of every visible victory. Think about the people you admire. Not the ones who talk, but the ones who perform. The ones whose results scream louder than their announcements. The ones whose presence demands respect. The ones who walk into a room already carrying quiet power. Do you think they became that way by posting every tiny step? Do you think they built their discipline because someone was cheering them on every day? Do you think they needed an audience to stay consistent? Of course not. They became great because they showed up, especially when no one cared. That is the difference between those who wish and those who build. Those who wish need motivation. Those who build rely on discipline. Those who wish need eyes on them. Those who build don't care who's watching. Those who wish want validation. Those who build want progress. Showing up in silence teaches you who you really are. It strips away the performance. It removes the external pressure. It leaves only you, your habits, your triggers, your discipline, your excuses, your limits, your truth. Silence exposes every part of you the spotlight hides, but silence also strengthens everything the spotlight cannot give you. When you show up alone, you learn how to rely on yourself. You learn how to be accountable to your own potential. You learn how to push yourself without someone forcing you. You learn how to stay consistent even when your mood is unstable, your motivation is gone, or your energy is low. And that is the kind of consistency that builds an unbreakable identity. There will be mornings when your bed feels heavier than your goals. There will be nights when the world feels indifferent to your effort. There will be weeks where your progress feels invisible. There will be seasons where nothing seems to be happening. But if you show up anyway, you gain something far more valuable than speed. You gain identity. Every day you show up is a brick. 1 brick won't change your life. 10 bricks won't look like much. But 100? 1,000? 10,000? That's when people call you unstoppable. Not because you moved fast, but because you never stopped laying the bricks. Consistency is not about intensity. It's about loyalty to the future you want, to the person you're becoming, to the discipline you're trying to build. Loyalty is built when no one is watching. Loyalty is built when the world is silent. Loyalty is built in the moments you think don't matter, but they do. They matter because those small actions compound. They matter because discipline grows quietly. They matter because your identity is shaped by the things you do when you believe no one will ever know. Most people stop because they think no one cares. But your future cares. Your future self is begging you to keep going. Your future strength depends on what you do now. Your future opportunities will be shaped by the invisible hours you discipline yourself through today. So you must build a ritual of showing up. Not once, not occasionally. Every day. Show up when tired. Show up when frustrated. Show up when doubtful. Show up when progress is slow. Show up when your motivation is dead. Show up when the world is silent. Show up because showing up is a promise you made to yourself. And here's the beautiful part. When you show up without an audience, you stop performing and start transforming. You stop chasing applause and start chasing mastery. You stop basing your progress on external response and start basing it on internal integrity. And when mastery becomes more important than visibility, your entire life shifts. You stop being distracted by noise. You stop being controlled by opinions. You stop bending to validation. You start owning your time. You start owning your habits. You start owning your path. You start owning yourself. And eventually, after all the silent days, the quiet nights, the invisible hours, people will notice. Not because you told them. Not because you bragged. Not because you showed off your routines or your grind. They will notice because the results became too undeniable to ignore. They will notice because your presence changed. They will notice because your discipline strengthened you in ways noise never could. They will notice because silence gave you the space to become someone powerful. And when that day comes, the world will ask how you did it. They'll think it was quick. They'll assume it was sudden. They won't understand the countless days you showed up alone. They won't understand the battles you fought in silence. They won't understand the discipline you built without attention. They won't understand the identity you forged through repetition. They'll call it talent, luck, genetics, timing. But you'll know the truth. You rose because you were loyal to the work when no one was watching. There is nothing more powerful than a person who shows up for themselves. No audience, no applause, no trophy, no attention, just discipline, intention, and quiet fire. Show up now. Show up quietly. Show up consistently. Your future depends on it. Chapter 6. Cut distractions without apology. There is a point in every journey where discipline is no longer enough on its own. You can be disciplined, focused, determined, and driven, but if your life is full of distractions, you will still move slowly, painfully, inconsistently. Not because you lack ability, not because you lack ambition, but because your environment is working against you. And very few people have the courage to admit this. Even fewer have the courage to change it. Distractions don't destroy you instantly. They destroy you gradually. A notification here, a message there, a conversation you didn't need, a screen you didn't plan to check, a habit you know is weakening you. And before you know it, the day is gone, not because you were tired, but because you were interrupted. Interrupted by noise, interrupted by people, interrupted by patterns that quietly eat your potential 1 minute at a time. You cannot rise if you are constantly reachable. You cannot grow if you are constantly interrupted. You cannot build a powerful life if everything around you has permission to break your focus. That is why the strongest people are not the busiest. They are the most protected. They guard their attention like it is gold. They treat their time like it is currency. They defend their energy like it is strength. And they cut distractions without apology. Most people are not held back by lack of opportunity. They are held back by lack of boundaries. They say yes when they should say no. They respond when they should stay silent. They explain when they should walk away. They stay reachable when they should be unavailable. They let other people's urgency override their priorities. They let other people's noise override their clarity. They let other people's chaos override their consistency. But here is the truth. You teach the world how to treat your time. If you allow interruptions, you'll receive them endlessly. If you respond instantly, people will expect instant access forever. If you tolerate distractions, distractions will multiply. Your life becomes a reflection of what you allow, not what you desire. Cutting distractions is not about isolation. It's about direction. It's about protecting the future you're building. It's about honoring the version of yourself you're trying to become. It's about creating a life where your focus is not constantly attacked by things that don't matter. Think about the moments when you've made the most progress. They were quiet moments, focused moments, moments when you were locked in, undisturbed, uninterrupted. Moments when your mind was clear enough to think deeply, long enough to finish something important, quiet enough to hear your own intuition. Those moments didn't happen by accident. They happened because distractions weren't present. People love to say, "I'll do it later," as if later is a real place. But later becomes never the moment distraction enters the room. Distraction steals the beginning of your work. It delays your first step. It multiplies your hesitation. And once hesitation grows, the whole day slips away. Not because you lacked discipline, but because you lacked protection. You must reach a point where you stop negotiating with distractions, where you stop justifying them, where you stop pretending they're harmless. A distraction that steals 5 minutes from you every hour is stealing 2 hours from you every day. 2 hours a day is 14 hours a week. 14 hours a week is 700 hours a year. 700 hours could change your life, but wasted, it changes nothing. Cutting distractions requires honesty. Honesty about who and what pulls you away from your path. Honesty about the habits that slow you down. Honesty about the environments that weaken you. Honesty about the behaviors that drain your energy. Most people never rise because they lie to themselves about what is holding them back. You know exactly what your biggest distractions are. You know the apps you should delete. You know the people who interrupt your growth. You know the habits that drain your discipline. You know the environments that pull you into old patterns. You know the routines that break your focus. You know the impulses that pull you away from your purpose. The question is not whether you know. The question is whether you're willing to cut. Not reduce, not adjust, not manage. Cut. Cutting means choosing your future over your comfort. Cutting means choosing your ambition over your impulses. Cutting means choosing your purpose over your distractions. And yes, it will make people uncomfortable. It will confuse them. It will even upset some. Because when you stop being available to everything, you stop being convenient to everyone. But here is your reminder. You are not responsible for making your growth comfortable for others. You are not responsible for protecting their feelings at the cost of your future. You're not responsible for staying small so they feel big. You're not responsible for wasting your time so they feel supported. You're not responsible for slowing down so they feel less insecure. The people who belong in your future will never be threatened by your focus. They will never guilt you for protecting your time. They will never discourage your boundaries. They will understand. They will support. They will adjust. Everyone else was noise dressed as connection. Cutting distractions will feel harsh at first. Because distraction has become normal. Because your brain has been trained to expect noise. Because you've become used to interruption, stimulation, and instant gratification. But once your mind experiences clarity, once your days feel anchored, once you realize how much progress you make without constant noise, you will never go back. Focus becomes addictive. Clarity becomes energizing. Discipline becomes natural. Growth becomes inevitable. You will start noticing something powerful. The less you allow into your mind, the more your mind gives back to you. You think clearer, you move smoother, you decide faster, you create deeper, you grow stronger. Noise makes your life heavy, clarity makes your life powerful, distraction makes your life chaotic, focus makes your life intentional. Every powerful person you admire has mastered the art of cutting distractions. They built their lives not by doing more, but by removing more. They removed noise, they removed clutter, they removed low-value conversations, they removed obligations that didn't align with their goals. They removed people who drained their ambition. They removed the environments that fed old habits. They removed anything that weakened their path. You must do the same. Not someday. Not eventually. Not when life gets calmer. Now. Because your future depends on what you protect today, and nothing deserves protection more fiercely than your focus. Cut the distraction. Cut the noise. Cut the habits that make you slow. Cut the impulses that make you weak. Cut the comfort that makes you stuck. Cut without apology. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing your future. Your clarity is explanation enough. Chapter 7. Build unshakable discipline. There comes a moment in every journey when motivation dies, not fades, dies. It stops showing up. It stops helping you. It stops giving you the energy you once relied on. And when that moment comes, most people collapse. Not because they're weak, but because they built their life around a fuel source that was never meant to last. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Motivation pushes you for a moment. Discipline carries you for a lifetime. And until you build discipline that doesn't shake, bend, or disappear, your life will stall every time your feelings change. You become unstoppable the moment you stop depending on how you feel. That is the shift people fear. That is the shift people avoid. That is the shift people resist because feelings are comfortable, familiar, and addictive. But everything you want in life sits behind the gate of discipline. And most people never open that gate. So ask yourself honestly, how many times have your dreams died because your mood changed? How many goals have you abandoned because you didn't feel like it? How many opportunities slipped through your fingers because the work wasn't exciting anymore? How many times did you choose comfort over progress because the path felt heavy, lonely, or silent? Discipline is what saves you from the version of yourself that would rather stay the same. People imagine discipline as punishment, restriction, control. But real discipline is freedom. It's the freedom to build a life that doesn't collapse every time you're tired. It's the freedom to take action even when your emotions don't agree. It's the freedom to follow through on your vision regardless of your mood. It's the freedom to create consistency in a world full of distractions. Discipline frees you from chaos. Discipline frees you from your weaker impulses. Discipline frees you from the noise that once controlled your decisions. Without discipline, you become a prisoner of your unconscious habits. With discipline, you become the architect of your future. The strongest version of you is not the one who works hard when motivated. It's the one who works hard, especially when motivation dies. The one who gets up when the bed feels like gravity. The one who pushes forward when the world feels heavy. The one who keeps going when no progress is visible. The one who shows up when everything inside is screaming for comfort. That version of you is rare. That version of you is powerful. That version of you is built, not born. Discipline begins with one simple truth. You don't need to want to do the work. You just need to do it. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to start. You don't need to be in the perfect mood. You just need to follow through. Your feelings are unreliable. Your discipline must not be. The world will always give you reasons to stop. Someone will distract you. Something will pull you away. Life will get loud, inconvenient, unpredictable. Challenges will show up at the worst possible times. Failures will hit when you least expect them. Doubt will whisper in your ear. Fear will grow in the silence. and motivation will vanish. But discipline is what allows you to keep moving through all of it. You must decide that your future is worth more than your comfort. Comfort keeps you where you are. Discipline takes you where you've never been. Comfort whispers, later. Discipline says, now. Comfort says, rest. Discipline says, finish. Comfort loves your feelings. Discipline loves your future. And if you don't choose discipline, comfort will choose you, and it will choose the weakest version of you every single time. Discipline is not built in big moments. It is built in small ones. Moments when you choose to follow through instead of making excuses. Moments when you choose the harder thing because it aligns with your goals. Moments when you refuse to negotiate with your procrastination. Moments when you break patterns that kept you stuck for years. Moments when you keep your promises to yourself, even when no one else will know if you break them. These small decisions stack. These small decisions compound. These small decisions create identity, and identity determines destiny. If you want to build unshakable discipline, you must treat discipline like a muscle. You train it daily. You stress it just enough to grow. You build it through repetition, not intensity. You build it through consistency, not extremes. You build it through ordinary days, not extraordinary ones. Most people think discipline is about doing something huge. But real discipline is about doing something small every single day until it changes everything. Imagine waking up and doing one thing for your future before the world wakes up. One thing for your mind. One thing for your body. One thing for your goals. Done early. Done quietly. Done without negotiations. Do you know what happens when you do that for 30 days straight? You stop questioning your ability. You stop doubting your direction. You stop bargaining with your excuses. You start trusting yourself. Self-trust is the true reward of discipline. You can't buy it. You can't fake it. You can't talk your way into it. You earn it. You earn it by showing up. You earn it by following through. You earn it by doing exactly what you said you'd do, especially when it's uncomfortable. Most people don't lack confidence. They lack self-trust, and self-trust is built every time discipline wins over impulse. People talk about staying motivated, but what they need is to stay consistent. Motivation is emotional. Consistency is structural. Motivation is unpredictable. Consistency is controllable. Motivation fades. Consistency compounds. And the consistency that changes your life is born from discipline, not desire. There will be days when your discipline breaks. Days when you slip. Days when you fail. Days when you don't follow through. Discipline isn't about never falling. Discipline is about rising faster each time. It's about shrinking the gap between failure and recovery. It's about refusing to let one bad day become a bad week, refusing to let one slip become a spiral. Real discipline is the ability to return to your path quickly, silently, and without drama. You must learn to forgive yourself fast and recommit even faster, not with excuses, not with guilt, with action. Action is the language discipline understands. Action is the only thing that resets your momentum. Action is the only thing that rebuilds your identity. Action is the only thing that tells your brain, we are not quitting. Once you build unshakable discipline, something shifts inside you. You stop waiting for the right moment. You create the moment. You stop hoping for clarity. You build it through action. You stop fearing failure. You trust your ability to recover. You stop seeking motivation. You rely on structure. You stop being fragile. You become fortified. People will notice the change. Not because you brag about your discipline, but because your presence becomes sharper. Your energy becomes calmer. Your decisions become faster. Your words become fewer. Your actions become louder. Your results become undeniable. That is the quiet confidence discipline gives you. The confidence of someone who knows they will follow through no matter how they feel. Discipline becomes your identity, and once something becomes identity, it becomes effortless. This is the moment you choose to upgrade your identity, not to someone who tries, but to someone who follows through, not to someone who waits, but to someone who starts, not to someone who depends on motivation, but to someone who creates movement, not to someone who bends under pressure, but to someone who rises through it. Build discipline now so strong that nothing, not doubt, not noise, not fear, not failure, can shake you from your path. Build discipline so deep that silence becomes your training ground and consistency becomes your native language. Build discipline so unbreakable that your future self thanks you every single day. Chapter 8. Trust the invisible work. Every transformation has a season no one talks about. A season where the work is real, but the results are not. A season where your effort is high, but your progress is silent. A season where you give everything and receive nothing, at least nothing visible. And this is the point where most people break. Not because they're weak, but because the world taught them to only believe in what they can immediately see. But the truth is simple. The most important growth of your life will happen where no one can see it. Not your friends, not your family, not your followers, not even you, sometimes. Real growth begins beneath the surface long before it reaches the light. Look at the strongest tree in a forest. Everyone admires its height, its branches, its strength, but no one sees the roots, deep, tangled, powerful, holding everything together. If the roots were shallow, the tree would collapse the moment the wind changed, but the roots grew long before anyone noticed. They grew in silence. They grew in darkness. They grew invisibly. That's what the invisible work is. The roots of your future. You must understand this deeply. Just because you don't see progress doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Just because nothing looks different doesn't mean nothing is changing. Just because no one is applauding doesn't mean the work is meaningless. The beginning of every breakthrough looks like nothing. Silence before the storm. Stillness before the rise. Resistance before the reward. Your life is not a movie. There will be no dramatic music to tell you something is about to change. There will be no flashing sign that says you're getting closer. There will be no weekly highlight reel showing how your habits are compounding. Growth happens quietly. Strength builds silently. Change accumulates in the background. The invisible work is what shapes the visible future. But we live in a world addicted to instant results. If it doesn't change fast, people quit. If they don't see improvement, they stop. If someone else looks ahead, they panic. If validation doesn't come, they lose faith. They expect harvest without planting. They expect progress without patience. They expect results without repetition. You cannot build anything powerful with that mindset. Anything real requires time. Anything meaningful requires faith. Anything lasting requires patience. You cannot rush what is meant to grow through consistency, and you cannot skip the invisible work. Invisible work is the early morning you do when everyone else is still sleeping. Invisible work is the preparation no one claps for. Invisible work is the skill building no one sees. Invisible work is the discipline you build in empty rooms. Invisible work is the self-control you practice when temptation calls. Invisible work is the mental war you win silently. Invisible work is the effort you put in every day, even when no one knows, no one notices, and no one cares. And that is why invisible work is powerful, because it is pure. It is not done for attention. It is not done to impress. It is not done for applause. It is done for you, for your becoming, for your future, for your strength. Most people only respect results, but the greatest people in the world respect the work. They respect the grind. They respect the repetition. They respect the patience. They respect the process. They respect the silence. Because they know every strong foundation is built long before anyone sees the structure. So let me ask you something. Do you trust the work you're doing when it hasn't paid off yet? Do you trust the habits you're building when they feel slow? Do you trust the changes inside you even when the outside looks the same? Do you trust yourself enough to keep going without a sign? Because that's the real test, not the work itself, but the belief behind the work. Invisible work demands a different kind of courage, not the loud courage of big risks or bold gestures, but the quiet courage of patience, the quiet courage of consistency, the quiet courage of showing up when there is nothing to celebrate, the quiet courage of trusting a future you cannot see, the quiet courage of believing in the seed long before the tree exists. Growth is a slow revelation. You don't feel stronger immediately. You don't feel wiser instantly. You don't feel transformed overnight. But if you keep going, one day you'll wake up and realize something shifted. Your mind is clearer. Your reactions are calmer. Your focus is sharper. Your energy is deeper. Your discipline is stronger. Your decisions are better. Your identity is rising, and you won't be able to point to the exact day it happened, because it didn't happen in a day. It happened in every single invisible moment that came before it. People will look at your results one day and call you lucky. They will see the final product and assume it came quickly. They will see the success and ignore the silence behind it. But you will know. You will know that you earned it when the world wasn't watching. You will know that you built it when the noise was loud. You will know that you stayed consistent when doubt whispered in your ear. You will know that patience, not perfection, changed your life. This chapter is the heart of silent success. To trust the work you're doing, even when the world sees nothing. There will be days when your effort seems pointless. Those days matter most. There will be days when your habits feel insignificant. Those habits shape your destiny. There will be days when you feel stuck. You're not stuck, you're growing roots. There will be days when you want to quit. That's the sign you're closer than you think. There will be days when no progress is visible, but visible success is the last stage of invisible growth. So trust the part the world cannot see. Trust the discipline you're building. Trust the choices you're making. Trust the consistency you're practicing. Trust the discomfort you're pushing through. Trust the clarity forming inside you. Trust the identity emerging quietly. Trust the work even when it's silent, especially when it's silent. The invisible work is your advantage. It's the reason you will rise when others stay behind. It's the reason your results will look sudden but were built slowly. It's the reason your success will feel natural, not accidental, because you earned it one quiet day at a time. Trust the invisible work now, and the visible results will come with a force no one can ignore. Chapter 9. Lock in your vision. There is a moment in your journey when the world stops being your biggest enemy and your own mind takes its place. Not because you're weak, but because vision is fragile in its early stages. A dream is strong enough to excite you, but not yet strong enough to withstand pressure. An idea is powerful enough to spark movement, but not yet powerful enough to survive doubt. A direction is clear enough to pull you forward, but not yet clear enough to silence every voice around you. This is the moment where many people get lost, not because their vision wasn't possible, but because they didn't protect it long enough for it to grow. Your vision needs protection. Your vision needs silence. Your vision needs loyalty, not occasionally, not when it's convenient, every single day, because the world will always have an opinion about what you should want, what you should pursue, who you should become, what is realistic, what is too much, what is safe, what is normal. And if you're not careful, you'll inherit someone else's limits without even realizing it. But your vision is not meant to be understood by everyone. It wasn't given to them, it was given to you. They don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. They don't hear the calling that whispers in your ear when you can't sleep. They don't carry the fire burning in your chest. They don't know the future you're trying to build. And they don't need to. What they call unrealistic is simply something they could never imagine doing themselves. What they call impossible is something they were never willing to try. What they call too ambitious is exactly what makes your vision worth pursuing. But here's the truth that will either break you or build you. Having a powerful vision doesn't matter if you don't lock into it. If you allow every opinion to shake you, if you let every setback discourage you, if you let every doubt pause you, if you let other people's fears pollute your clarity, the world will pull you in 1,000 directions unless you choose one. Clarity is not something you find. Clarity is something you commit to. You choose it. You reinforce it. You protect it. You return to it every time the world tries to pull you away. Your vision grows stronger every time you choose it instead of noise. Every time you prioritize it over distraction. Every time you build for it quietly. Every time you believe in it even when results have not arrived. Think about how many lives were changed because someone refused to let the world talk them out of their vision. They weren't the loudest. They weren't the most supported. They weren't the most understood. They were simply the most committed. They locked in. And that's what you must do now. Locking in means deciding your future matters more than your present doubts. It means refusing to negotiate with your insecurities. It means refusing to trade your vision for comfort. It means refusing to shrink so others feel comfortable around you. It means refusing to let fear rewrite your direction. It means refusing to let comparison slow you down. Your vision becomes real the moment you stop entertaining alternatives. Not when you talk about it, not when people agree with it, not when results appear, but when you decide, fully, deeply, quietly, that this is the path, and you're willing to walk it as long as it takes. Locking in is not a feeling, it's a choice to continue when enthusiasm fades, a choice to stand firm when the world questions you, a choice to believe when doubt creeps in, a choice to move forward when progress is invisible, a choice to trust yourself when no one understands. There will be days when your vision feels distant. There will be days when distractions win. There will be days when you question whether you misread your purpose. There will be days when you feel behind. There will be days when you feel lost. There will be days when everything feels slow. Those days don't mean your vision is wrong. Those days mean your vision is growing. Growth is not linear. Progress is not obvious. Breakthroughs are not predictable. Sometimes the biggest leaps happen right after the deepest doubt. Sometimes the moment you want to quit most is the moment right before things shift. Sometimes your vision is being strengthened precisely because it feels uncertain. This is the part where you must hold your ground. The part where you must return to your why. The part where you must remember who you're becoming. The part where you must trust the invisible work you've already done. The part where you must stay loyal to the future that keeps calling your name. Locking in means building a mental fortress around your vision. Not to shut the world out, but to keep your purpose intact. You don't need everyone's support. You don't need approval. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. What you need is clarity. Clarity you refuse to surrender. There will be people who misunderstand you, people who think you're distant, people who think you're selfish, people who think you've changed. Let them think. Growth always looks like distance to those who choose to stay where they are. There will be people who question you, people who doubt you, people who warn you, people who limit you. Let them talk. Their doubts are loud because their dreams are small. There will be people who try to pull you back into the life you're outgrowing. Let them watch. Some people only believe after they see, and that's fine. You are not building for them. You are building for the future you refuse to give up on. Locking in your vision also means simplifying your life. Removing what doesn't align, reducing what drains you, releasing what slows you, reorganizing your time around what matters, rebuilding your habits to support the direction you're going. Realignment is not always comfortable, but it is always necessary. People often lose their vision because they keep too many doors open, but growth requires closure. Clarity requires decisions. Progress requires sacrifice. You cannot walk in 10 directions and expect to arrive somewhere meaningful. You choose one path and you go all in. When you finally lock in, something powerful shifts inside you. Your mind becomes quieter. Your actions become more intentional. Your energy becomes more focused. Your decisions become easier. Your progress accelerates. Your distractions lose control. Your self-doubt loses volume. Your excuses lose power. And for the first time, your life starts moving forward with force instead of friction. People will feel the shift before they understand it. Your presence will get sharper. Your boundaries will get stronger. Your standards will rise. Your habits will tighten. Your discipline will deepen. Because locking in turns you from someone who hopes into someone who decides, someone who tries into someone who becomes, someone who dreams into someone who executes. And one day, your vision will no longer be a vision, it will be your reality. Not because you were lucky, not because you were gifted, not because you were chosen, but because you were loyal. Loyal to the path, loyal to the work, loyal to the silence, loyal to the future you could see long before anyone else could. Lock in your vision now, so the world has no choice but to witness it later. Chapter 10. Rise again no matter how many times you fall. There is one truth you must carry into the rest of your life. You will fall. You will fail. You will break down. You will lose momentum. You will lose focus. You will lose yourself for a moment or for a season. That is not weakness. That is life. No one rises in a straight line. No one grows without collapsing a few times. No one builds strength without facing their own breaking point. The difference between those who rise and those who stay down is never perfection. It is always recovery. Recovery is the hidden strength behind every powerful life. Recovery is the quiet resilience built in the dark, when no one is around to see how much it takes out of you. Recovery is the ability to return, to recenter, recommit, realign after life hits harder than expected. And if you can master recovery, you can master your entire future. You don't fail when you fall. You fail when you stop rising. And you stop rising only when you convince yourself that falling means the end. It doesn't. Falling means you're in motion. Falling means you're stretching beyond comfort. Falling means you're becoming someone new. Everything you admire in others, their strength, their discipline, their confidence, was built on top of countless failures they refused to keep. It is easy to be disciplined when things are smooth. It is easy to stay focused when life cooperates. It is easy to feel strong when everything is working in your favor. But the real test comes when everything breaks at once. When the structure collapses, when the silence feels heavy, when the routines fall apart, when the progress stops showing, when the noise inside your own head becomes louder than anything outside. That is the moment where your future is decided, not by what you do when you're winning, but by what you do when you're wounded. Every rise begins with honesty. Honesty about how far you slipped. Honesty about why you slipped. Honesty about the habits you dropped. Honesty about the distractions you allowed back in. Honesty about the excuses you used. Honesty not to shame yourself, but to reclaim yourself. You cannot rise if you're pretending nothing happened. You rise by confronting the truth, quietly and completely. Most people get stuck because they turn one bad day into a bad week. One bad week into a bad month. One bad month into a lost year. Not because they lack discipline, but because they lack recovery. They let guilt hold them hostage. They let shame keep them down. They let discouragement convince them it's too late. But it is never too late to rise twice as strong. It is never too late to rebuild your structure. It is never too late to return to yourself. The silence that once felt empowering may feel suffocating in these seasons, but silence is still your ally. Silence gives you space to recalibrate. Silence gives you clarity without judgment. Silence gives you a mental reset that the world will never offer you. Use it. Sit in it. Let it rebuild you instead of overwhelm you. Falling is uncomfortable. Rising is painful. But staying down is deadly. When you stay down, you accept a life that is smaller than your potential. When you stay down, you surrender your vision. When you stay down, you let a temporary failure become a permanent identity. And that is something you cannot allow, not if you are serious about the life you're building. Rising again requires courage, but not the dramatic kind, not the loud kind. Not the kind that demands attention. It requires quiet courage. The courage to face the disappointment you feel toward yourself. The courage to break the pattern of guilt. The courage to take the smallest step back toward your path. That small step is the hardest, not because it's physically difficult, but because your mind resists returning to the place where you fell. But the moment you take it, the entire structure of your identity shifts. You remind yourself who you are. You remind yourself what you've committed to. You remind yourself that one fall does not erase years of effort. Never underestimate the power of a small comeback. One disciplined day can break the chain of failure. 1 hour of focus can reignite your direction. One early morning can reset your identity. One choice can pull you out of the spiral. Momentum doesn't return through perfection. It returns through one decision, repeated until your fire is alive again. The world celebrates resilience, but no one talks about how lonely it feels. No one sees the internal negotiations. No one hears the arguments inside your mind. No one feels the weight you carry. No one understands the pressure you place on yourself. But that loneliness is where your greatest strength is born. Rising alone builds a kind of power that cannot be taken from you. A kind of power no applause can give you and no criticism can break. When you rise again, you rise differently. You rise wiser. You rise calmer. You rise more intentional. You rise with scars that have become armor. You rise with a deeper respect for the work. You rise with a stronger relationship with your discipline. You rise with humility and clarity, the two traits that keep great people grounded. And here is something you must understand. The stronger you become, the more life will test you. Tests are not punishment, they are proof of progress. Life stretches you to match the size of the future you're building. If your vision is big, your challenges will be big. If your future is strong, your setbacks will be strong. Not to break you, but to prepare you. Do not fear setbacks. Fear standing still. Fear abandoning the version of yourself you promised to become. Fear letting your potential rot unused. Fear giving up on a path your future self is begging you to stay on. The mission doesn't end when you fall. It ends when you stop rising. And you are not done rising. You have more strength than the world has seen. You have more resilience than life has tested. You have more chapters than the ones behind you. And you have more comeback in you than you realize. So rise quietly, rise deliberately, rise at your own pace, rise with intention, rise without announcing it, rise without seeking approval, rise for the future only you can see, rise because your vision is worth it, rise because your silence has power, rise because the world needs the version of you who refuses to stay down. One day, people will look at your strength and say you were built different. They won't know how many times you fell. They won't know how many times you started over. They won't know how many times you stood back up in silence. Let them think it was easy. Let them think it was natural. Let them think it was destiny. You'll know the truth. You rose again every single time. Win in public after winning in private. You've walked through 10 chapters of silence, discipline, clarity, and self-mastery. Not the kind of journey people post about. Not the kind of journey that gets applause, but the kind that reshapes a life from the inside out. And now you are standing at the edge of something new. Not because a door opened, but because you built the strength to walk through the ones you once feared. The world will never fully understand what it took for you to get here. How many mornings you showed up when you didn't feel ready. How many nights you fought yourself back into alignment. How many temptations you cut. How many distractions you denied. How many fears you carried without speaking. How many times you rose in silence after falling harder than you expected. Growth like this is invisible to everyone but you. But that's the point. Silent work builds loud results. Quiet discipline builds unshakable identity. Invisible effort builds undeniable strength. And now, without announcing it, without forcing it, without chasing it, you're ready to win in public because you have already won in private. Most people want the spotlight before they've built the backbone. They want recognition before repetition. They want success before sacrifice. But you chose the opposite path. You chose the one that almost no one sees, but everyone feels. And that is why you're going to last. That is why you won't crumble under pressure. That is why no setback will break you now. Because you built your identity in silence, and identities built in silence cannot be taken by noise. You learned to protect your focus, because focus is the currency of your future. You learned to ignore the noise, because noise is the trap that steals potential. You learned to commit to the process, because the process is the only path that never lies. You learn to show up when no one was watching because self-respect is earned privately. You learn to cut distractions because your ambition deserved your full attention. You learn to build unshakable discipline because feelings are unreliable, but structure is not. You learn to trust the invisible work because real transformation grows roots before it grows fruits. You learn to lock in your vision because clarity must be guarded, not shared. And you learn to rise again because falling is unavoidable, but quitting is optional. These lessons are no longer concepts. They are now part of the way you move, think, act, and decide. And the world will feel that shift long before you ever speak it. You won't need to explain yourself. You won't need to prove yourself. You won't need to justify your silence. Your presence will do the talking. Your results will do the explaining. Your discipline will do the proving. There will come a moment, not dramatic, not loud, not celebrated, when you realize you've outgrown the version of yourself who once needed validation. You'll see yourself choosing purpose over noise without hesitation. You'll see yourself walking away from distractions without guilt. You'll see yourself staying consistent without motivation. You'll see yourself protecting your peace without apology. And you'll know that the shift wasn't sudden, it was earned. One silent day at a time. Winning in public doesn't mean bragging, showing off, or demanding attention. It means your results walk into the room before you speak. It means your energy shows discipline without needing to declare it. It means your path becomes so aligned that people feel the difference in your presence. It means success becomes a byproduct, not a performance. People will ask, what changed? They'll assume you got lucky or found some secret shortcut. Let them. They didn't see the early mornings. They didn't see the invisible hours. They didn't see the nights when you rebuilt yourself quietly. They didn't see the discipline you forged behind closed doors. They didn't see the battles you fought alone. They didn't see the boundaries you set. They didn't see the distractions you cut. They didn't see the identity you reforged with repetition. What they see now is the public victory. But the truth is, you won long before this moment. You won the day you stopped announcing and started doing. You won the day you stopped performing and started building. You won the day you chose consistency over comfort. You won the day you honored your future instead of your feelings. You won the day you showed up quietly when no one expected you to. You won the day you rose again after falling so hard you didn't know if you could. Those were the real victories. Everything else is just confirmation. So take a breath and let this truth settle into your mind. You don't need the world's permission to rise. You don't need applause to validate your path. You don't need attention to make progress real. You only need commitment. Commitment to silence. Commitment to discipline. Commitment to yourself. As you walk forward from here, remember this. You are building a life that does not require constant explanation. You are building a mindset that cannot be shaken by noise. You are building a version of yourself who doesn't chase attention, because attention eventually chases those who are undeniable. Let your silence continue to shape you. Let your discipline continue to define you. Let your vision continue to anchor you. And let your results speak in the only language that matters, the language of action. You've done the private work. Now walk into the world with the quiet confidence of someone who doesn't need to be seen to know they are powerful. You will win in public because you earned it in silence.